We talked about a father's love, and Ben really went deep and talked about a tightrope. Welcome and thank you for joining us at BSN Live with Ben and Maddie. We're talking all things business, sales, and networking. Come and join our conversation.
My favorite book, or is my favorite book, is the G Code book. This is one. Can you see it right there? This one.
There it is.
I love this book. I have it next to me, and it's a reminder. And I have one of them. I'm going to show you guys. It's a little. My daughter drew this. This is my bookmark. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, nice.
It's a little picture of me and my wife. She drew with little hearts and stars. And he goes, to dad, for mom and dad from Talia. It's like, dude, and it reminds me of the gratitude. I mean, it's so, we talk about gratitude, and maybe we'll come back to that next week, but just being thankful, man. And I'm just thankful to have my you have to be thankful. And I forget too. So,
well, we all get caught up in the business, in the earning, in whatever that looks like for you, and sometimes we don't spend as much time with our family as we'd like to. And God, we talked about that before. I'm not going into that, but having that gentle reminder. I kept a Buzz Lightyear. It's downstairs on my desk, but I used to keep that on my desk when I had my office. Now it's on my home office now, and I have my little Buzz Lightyear to remind me of my little man.
Yeah. We have to have those reminders. If you have a reminder, let us know. If there's something that we're in the comments below, and if you don't want to share that, it's okay. But if you want to share that, if there's something that you carry, like a certain reminder that you put around the house, or that makes you always remember to be thankful about something, let us know in the comments. I'd like to know that.
Yeah, basically it's your why, right? I mean, that's my why. My little man is my reason I do everything. My wife and my son mean the world to me. So that's my why, right? Yours as well?
Yeah, absolutely. What is your why? Let us know what your why is in the comments. If you have a why, I'd love to know what your why is. My why is my wife and my family, and my kids, and I have to help them reach their goals. That's the idea. My oldest, she applied at West Point. Her goal, the Air Force Academy.
That's big.
Yeah, that is huge. And I just can't I can't be a dad. I can't be that person in her life as an influence. If I have a child, if I have someone in my life that that's a big responsibility on me, man. That's pressure. I mean, that's pressure for a father. That's pressure for when your kid says, I want to go to the Air Force Academy, and they want to live up to that's someone that you're like, you can be proud of, but how do I get someone to that goal, right?
That's the thing. Absolutely.
And then how do I get, so I have to level myself up, means I have to be a better version of myself, and I have to surround myself with better people that are better versions of me, and I have to find people that I need can help and grow. And she's part of my world too. Now, is it perfect? No. Do we have father and daughter relationship variables that we argue?
We all have differences of opinion.
Yeah, I'm still the dad, right? I'm still the dad.
Sure.
Like, versus when I see someone else doing something wrong, you just let them, like, okay, I can't really talk to that person in that way, because they're not my blood. Your blood, my daughter, I can tell her, I can say, hey, you know what? You need to, like, there's some things that you need to fix. If you don't fix it today, it's gonna get worse. And what is she gonna say? Oh, she's gonna argue with me, right? Because that's the natural, that's what they do. Versus, but I can have those conversations. So that's why it's very important with your children. I believe with your children, your blood, the people that you can have those. Sometimes those conversations have to be. There has to be some, like, dirt, right? Like, it has to be real,
Absolutely.
Sometimes, and you don't know how other people are going to take it, especially at work or the people around you. And some people are sensitive. I'm a sensitive guy. I'll tell you that. If someone say, hey, man, like, I'm like, oh, shit, that hurts.
We all, as coachable or whatever we all say we are, we get that criticism or whatever. Yeah, it stings a little bit, but I think it's extremely important to have that structure that you're talking about with your daughter, and being the father, not the friend, to be there, because you're going to be there whether she succeeds, which she will, or not. The friends are not going to be there. Friends come and go and ebb and flow from their lives, but you're the constant, and you're always going to be there to support and lift up and encourage, and showing the right way. And God, I'm a horrible model for my kid. And I think about it, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have done that, and try and do better. And I get yelled at from my wife for doing stupid stuff, because I need to do better. And I always tell my son, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. So when I lecture or instruct him, I try and just say, hey, man, this is what I try to do,
Yeah. And some of you may agree or may disagree with this, but I always, I'm always keeping my girls on the fine line with me, where they're walking. I wouldn't say they're almost like on the tightrope, right? The tightrope. I have to teach them how to walk on a tightrope in life, which means that once they're always, the fall, it's a practice, right? But as they get higher, as they get older, right, the fall is going to be more dangerous, right? When they're babies, they fall, it's okay, no big deal. But as they get older, right, my oldest now is 16. If she makes a mistake, a big mistake, it's going to be more costly for her. Meaning, she's 16. She school-wise, right? The grades, right? The grades. Example is like, when you're 12 years old in junior high, you get a C on a test, no big deal. No matter, right? It's okay. You gotta get better. In high school, you're in your senior year, and you get a C on that test, and your goal is to go to West Point. It's gonna cost you. It costs you a lot. So you got to think about where you're at.
Wow, that analogy hit me pretty hard, man. That's really an outstanding way to describe it. I'm gonna actually have a conversation with my son. He's gonna roll his eyes. I mean, really, that makes sense. The balls at 1 foot on that tightrope when we're younger, as we're learning, not a big deal. It gets to 3 foot, 5 foot. Once you start getting away from the ground, those falls, and I'm a big man, I don't like to fall. You know what I mean? Those things start to hurt. And in life, when you start making those bad decisions, and those things start becoming permanent records on your record for life, I mean, those are devastating.
Yeah.
And some of them, I mean, you see these kids and they throw their life away, and it's just horrible. I believe that teaching them to stay on that tightrope and keep pushing them. That's what us as parents are supposed to do. Just keep nudging them to keep them straight on that rope. I think that's a great analogy, brother.
Yeah, and it works. And here's another. And just to give you good ideas, when we're little kids, when you're at the playground, you may have said, we all said something mean, right? But do you remember that? Like, nah, you don't give a shit. You don't care. You don't care. Now, as an adult, you say something that's mean to somebody and you really hurt somebody. If you're a real person, if you're someone that cares about people, and you hurt someone, you damage that person somehow, you're gonna care. You're gonna be like, I made a mistake. And sometimes those are the ones where, when we make those kind of mistakes, we're like, man, like, how do I fix it? And sometimes you just can't fix it. You just can't. I'm sorry does not work anymore. It doesn't work for that person. And how do we move on from ourselves when someone doesn't say, hey, doesn't forgive you, or they just, so it's different ways. There's different ways, and those hurt more. I think that hurts me more as an adult now. I'm 40, and I'm trying to be a better person. And when I do something wrong, and someone says, you know what, that affects me. That does affect me. And how do I move forward from that? And I don't have the answers for that. I tell you that right now. I think that's probably just being human. But it does bother me, you know. So
Well, and then just there really isn't. You just have to take the state, let it go. The
yeah,
more you carry it, the more baggage you have. The more your head drops, the more you let those things accumulate on your shoulders, and they become crushing. I know I do that. I mean, I'm very empathetic as a person. I mean, anybody that knows me, I'm very much that way, and it's hard, to try and separate a little bit because I want to do everything for everybody. I just physically and just can't, and buddy, this was a lot deeper conversation than I expected to have.
conversations that I mean, this is something where I went through this situation last week, and it really that was something where I'm like trying to figure that out. Like I know I'm a good person. I'm doing my best every single day. I'm going out there and but I'm not going to be able to like. Not everyone's going to agree with me. I get that. However, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to do something that's going to affect someone some way, and they're not going to be happy with what happened. And you can go out and say, hey, you know what, I'm really sorry, and they're just going to be like
Whatever.
this,
Yeah.
and you're going to be like, but I said I'm sorry, like I really mean it, and they're going to be like that, right? I'm sorry. They're going to do that, and you're going to be like, but
Right.
what do I do? And how do you move forward from that? You are sincere. You're a sincere person, and you can't go out there and try to kiss. You know for a fact, as a human being, you can't go out there and try to kiss their ass even more, or try to be like beg for forgiveness. It's
No, no.
sometimes, yeah, you can't do that. You can't be crying. You can't be like,
You
but
know, trying to walk in somebody else's shoes for a minute is what I'm trying to do. And grace, having a little bit of grace. You know what, man? Somebody had a bad day. I'm gonna let one ride.
sure,
Man, as I'm getting older, that is something I'm really working hard at doing. When I was younger, I had a hair trigger. People didn't get a lot of grace from me. I would, you know, road rage and all those other things. Be that guy at the party. You don't want. Not that I was ever a bad guy, but just don't get on that bad side. But I never in when I was younger, in my adolescence, and when I got in my 20s and 30s, didn't really try and walk in other people's shoes. And now I'm trying to remember that because we're all at different points of our journey, and we don't know what that person. There was a guy speeding through, cut me off yesterday, man, bad, almost hit me, and he was jamming and he made a turn, and it was near a hospital.
mm,
I thought maybe he had somebody in the hospital that he needed to get to. And so that shaped my mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Just trying to inject a little bit of grace into my.
yeah. I was gonna write a post about this, but I'm glad I spoke about this. I think one of the way I was writing it down, and then I deleted it because there's a lot of things I write, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna post this.
Me too.
Maybe next, like, you know. Uh, but I did say in my post, I did write down what can I do, and I remember saying, I'm gonna be a little bit more forgiving towards people.
There
Like
you go.
if someone says if they do something to me and I say, you know what, and they say I'm sorry, I'm going to be more forgiving, and I'm going to remember that. We're meaning that it means I don't have to forget. It just I'm going to let that person know, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And then you don't have to browbeat them on it, or say, hey, well, you did this to me. No, just hey, you're cool. Don't worry. And of course, that relationship may be a little bit more distant. It's okay, but you let that person know, hey, you know what? I've moved on from that, and I'm good. So
No, and we're right at the end of our time here, but I'm going to leave it with one final thing. As we're talking about this, you hit it great, having a little bit more forgiveness, grace, whatever your word is, do that. Do it for yourself too.
yeah,
I do a lot of negative self-talk and programming in my head. I'm trying to avoid that, and I will avoid that in the future. So give yourself some grace too when you make a mistake. I just was on camera the other day in the group telling a mistake that I made, with a YouTuber recently, wasn't really thinking about it, wasn't a big deal. We overcame it. overcame it, right? But I didn't want to get on in my head and just bash myself. So have a lot of grace. I think that's the overall tone of the message today. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great, man. That's good. Grace is
Grace and forgiveness.
yeah. You know what? Let's look up before we go. Let's look up the definition of grace, so people, those who watch it, unless you have it on your phone, right quick.
Hashtag grace if you're with us right now or in the replay. Hashtag grace for us. And if you have another word that works for you, that you reach down into to tap into things, let us know. I'm really curious. But grace is the word that I've been sourcing.
Love this. I love this. Grace, a simple elegance or refinement of movement. Okay, that's walking. Courteous goodwill towards yourself, right? We want that. Yep. And to do honor or credit or someone or something by one's presence. I think we have grace for ourselves, right? I think that's what we're talking about. Grace is just kindness and forgiveness for ourselves. That's pretty much what we're talking about there, Matt. Thank you.
Right on. I don't know where I got it from. It just started sticking in my head, and just trying to keep that, trying to keep my head laser focused is always a challenge. With all the negativity that is in the world, whether it's personal, political, your community, whatever, there's so much of it coming at us. I'm really doing my best to try and keep those blinders and love myself up a little bit.
All right, brother. You have a good day, my friend.
Hey, great episode today. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining. Keith, absolutely. Grace, Willow, thanks for joining us. Everybody else, appreciate you being a member. Have a great day. And as always, remember, slay the day, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.